A regional captain fatally suffers what appears to be a heart attack on rotation at Chicago O'Hare. This and more aviation news on Taking Off. Happy Thanksgiving from us at Taking Off. I'm Dan Milliken. Chewy, the Newfoundland, is back there. We're sponsored by Flying Eyes Optics, Colton Mortgage, and Marshall Protective Services. More info at the end and in the description below. All right, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is the busiest air travel day of the season, and the FAA posted that as many as 48,000 flights take place on this one day. There is some harsh weather moving across the country. Make sure you check your flight status before heading to the airport, and get there early because it's going to be crowded. Of course, if you're flying general aviation, then no worries about fighting the crowd. Still, check the weather and then check it again. Grab your snacks and pre-flight that plane as you head over the hills and dales to grandmother's house. And this just in, a helicopter, a Robinson R-44 out of Charlotte for the local news there, has just crashed, killing the pilot and the meteorologist of the local news station. We don't have a lot of information right now. The only word is that onlookers are really praising the helicopter pilot because as the helicopter was coming down, he was able to avoid hitting a very busy interstate. But unfortunately, they crashed, killing both. If we hear more, we'll pass along the information. We've been getting a lot of people asking if we're going to do a video on the Dallas Air Show mid-air crash that took place a few weeks ago that took the lives of 6 people and the loss of an historic B-17 and a P-63. Honestly, I don't have anything new to add. Richard McSpadden at AOPA's Air Safety Institute has a great video, as well as Juan at Blanco Lirio. If you want to see what happened, go check those out. It's a horrible and tragic event, and really we're sick to our stomachs here at Taking Off. If we have anything to add when the NTSB prelim report comes out, maybe we'll chime in. But for now, that's all. We're going to talk about that. Okay, turning now to another tragedy in Chicago. On Saturday night, November 19th, just after 7 p.m. Central Time, an Envoy Embraer 175 flight 3556 was on takeoff roll when the left seat captain slumped over and the right seat pilot had to take over. The flight was from Chicago to Columbus, and the right seat pilot circled back to O'Hare and landed without any further complications. And here's what we know. The captain was Patrick Ford and was on his IOE flight. That stands for Initial Operating Experience. All airline pilots go through this, both first officers and captains. And Captain Ford had been flying before, and so he was a captain trainee. For the IOE, it usually consists of 25 to 50 hours of flying with a line check airman. In this case, the line check airman was in the right seat performing the duties of a first officer. So they had, in effect, 2 captains on the flight deck. The line check airman is Captain Brandon Hendrickson, and he expertly got the plane down in spite of the emergency and the busy O'Hare airspace. And after landing, he tells ATC that he needs to remove the captain from the left seat and change seats for the taxi. And after the crew removed the captain to the forward galley, the flight attendants attempted to revive him, while Captain Hendrickson taxied to a gate. While listening to the audio, not being a 121 pilot, I wondered why Captain Hendrickson didn't call for paramedics to meet them on the runway or the taxiway. Many of you know Christy, my co-host here, flies the 175 and is very familiar with the plane. She says Hendrickson absolutely made the right call. O'Hare ground expedited his taxi, and they got to a gate pretty quickly. If he had stopped on the taxiway, they would have had to wait for stairs or some sort of jet bridge to get the paramedics up to the plane. And I asked her why he didn't taxi from the right seat. The 175 is actually very difficult to steer from the right seat without the use of the tiller, which steers the nose gear and is only available from the left seat. There was also a Part 135 pilot who was on the flight and came up and sat right seat to help Hendrickson get to the gate. It was an amazing job by Hendrickson and the crew of Envoy Flight 3556, and our condolences to the family of Captain Ford. Okay, thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting our sponsors. Flying Eyes Optics, you can use our discount code TAKINGOFF10, all caps one word with the number 10 for 10% off. Also, Colton Mortgage. If you're looking for a mortgage, these guys can help. It's run by a pilot. And also run by a pilot is Marshall Protective Services. As I mentioned in a recent video, I'm really behind on editing and have lots of videos in the can. I got a great response, but just so everyone understands, I'm looking for a professional editor who happens to be a pilot versus a pilot who happens to edit. While I love to train and teach, I need some help where I don't have to train. I just don't have the time right now. Like this video, I just don't have the time to edit, so this one's a bit below the production value I like to have. Sorry about that. Also, we've got the next In the Hangar shoot scheduled for January 28th, 29th, and 30th. If you can come and be a part of our studio audience, that would be great. I'm putting the address in the description below. I'll also be posting guests and other info on the community section of this YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, check out Christie's John Denver crash video by clicking right there. Thanks again, and remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills. Stay safe.